Welcome to part 3 of my podcast for K12 Online. In this segment, we're going to take a look at what I'm doing with my students at Colorado State University and how we're focusing on collaboration and production. Again, this story takes place at a very interesting time of systemic change in our globe, in our world. Things are hyper-competitive and becoming more self-organized. We're seeing all sorts of new ways to organize ourselves and to share our information. We're all struggling to understand this world and to respond and to survive this avalanche of change. We're all working in antiquated organizational structures and systems that were created for a different era. So as characters in this story, we really need to learn how to survive this avalanche so that our futures are not jeopardized. So we're fortunate that there's these new emerging techniques of collaboration and collective action which can help us survive this avalanche. Educators and students can survive this avalanche by actively building their own systems, creating their own learning environments, and by decentralizing and aggregating their actions. As characters in this story, we face significant change. We need to get back to our origins when we were young and not afraid to make mistakes. I think this is why my students, and myself included, are so afraid to produce things, because if we produce things, it's hard to hide our mistakes. In order to truly benefit from these edge organizations, we need to be bold. We need to take the risk of producing things and then sharing those things and taking the risk of being criticized from others. At Colorado State University, I'm engaging my students in this sort of production and collaboration. I'm having them create blogs, digital stories, and web quests, and then sharing them through a network that you see here called Wisdom of Students. I created this network in ning.com. Using tools like Wisdom of Students, ning.com, and RSS feed readers, I am encouraging my students to create their own aggregators, to create their own individualized learning networks. Using Wisdom of Students, my students can experience how collaboration and collective action are powerful forces that make our overall learning network more powerful. Furthermore, we're reaching out to other networks and disseminating what we learn in our network to others to impact a larger space. So here are some examples of how we're aggregating information within our network with Wisdom of Students. On the left is a feed from Classroom 2.0, another Ning site focused on education. I have a feed from my own blog on the upper right, and then below I have a bunch of feeds that scroll through from students. Internal to the Wisdom of Students site, students can post forums, threaded discussions. They can post blog posts internally. And then they can create groups. And if you notice, there's a couple groups that are focused on education, and there's one that's focused on more of a social aspect. Students can also post pictures. They can post videos that they find interesting. You can see some personal art photos up above. And then there's links to each of the students' particular blogs or their own blogs. And you can see an example of one on the lower right. just getting students to produce without fear and share what they produce without fear is a major hurdle. I believe that this wisdom of students Ning environment has provided a safe place for students to try this out. What have I learned with experimenting with networks in my class and wisdom of students in my class? I realized that students are afraid to collaborate and share. They are afraid of the incorrect answer. This is unfortunate because often the more we fail and share our failure, the more we all learn and move forward. So we're all caught up in this changing environment. It's an exciting time. New organizations are emerging, and new tools are emerging that we can use to organize ourselves in this world. And to thrive in this new environment is exciting as well. We have to learn to produce things, and we have to learn to share things, and we need a new language and a new way of collaborating. So we can thrive by engaging ourselves in active learning and by becoming managers of our own learning networks, leveraging the strengths of collaboration and collective action. So again, I wanted to thank and recognize the photographers on the Creative Commons Flickr site, and also the soundtrack from Op Sound by Macroform, and the title of the song is Ready to Go Up Higher. That's it from me from the K12 Online Conference. I appreciate you listening, and I would welcome any comments and ideas on SwitchSpace. It's SWITCHSPACE.wikispaces.com.